Speaking of lying to you, back to the press conference with Andrew Cuomo today. The governor, among other things he announced, he's trying to stair-step opening of some businesses in New York. He's trying to wrestle with the idea of a school reopening. We're still not there on in-dining restaurants in New York because, well, we can't have that because of the COVIDs. You can have a good time dining out in New York. We can't have that yet, but we're still trying to wrestle with the schools. He, as part of an hour and 10-minute long press conference, announced what his quote-unquote plan is to reopening schools, except when the press heard what the plan is for reopening schools, they didn't really hear much of a plan at all. And when they asked him to basically address the flaws that are just quite obvious in his plan, here is Andrew Cuomo literally speaking out of his ass for about 3 minutes, explaining to you when a plan for reopening schools isn't really so much of a plan.
Well, look, there's parents, there's teachers, there's state government. The facts come first, Andrew. The information comes first. That's what this dashboard will do. What do I do in all my briefings? Here are the facts. Before I give you any opinion, here are the facts. If you say, they said in the plan, it's not mandatory, it's optional. All right, it's optional. I guess a lot of schools are going to do it. All right, this is gray. I thought optional meant a lot of schools were going to do it. So what do the facts turn out to be? Oh, I just went to the website. No schools are doing it. You said it was optional. I have a right to know that. I'm a parent. You said it was optional and you're not doing it in my child's school. And now I'm going to decide whether or not I'm sending my child to school, knowing that you're not doing any tests in my child's school. I'm also going to call you up and say, why aren't you testing in my child's school? I'm a parent. You said optional. You didn't say de minimis for 2 weeks, and you're doing no testing in my school, and I have my grandmother living here, and my kid is coming home, and 2 weeks is a long period of time. And I'm not sending my kid to school. That's your decision, and I want you to have that information. The alternative is worse. Johnny goes to PS35. I don't know if they're testing. I don't know if they're not testing. I don't know if that's one of the optional schools. I don't know if he should be quarantined. I don't know if he should be going. That's the anxiety. The facts resolve the anxiety. The facts may take the anxiety and turn it to outrage, right? But give me the facts rather than have me stew in uncertainty. And then parents will decide. I said from day one, I don't care what day the school opens. The school opens for Johnny the day the parent decides to send Johnny to school. And this will give you information. Now, if the state sees a cluster, just like colleges, just like workplaces, just like restaurants, we see a cluster in a school, we're going to come in, override everything, right? I'm not going to allow a cluster. That's what I'm saying to colleges. You have all your protocols. That's nice. You hit 100, and we step in. And the same will be true for K-12.
So there you go. In case you wanted to know what the plan was for New York opening schools, that was it. You just heard as clear of a delineation of what the guidelines are to reopen schools as you will ever hear from Andrew Cuomo, because they don't have a farking idea what to do. You want incompetence, you go to New York State, and that's what you get. He just is making stuff up as he goes along. The press heard his presentation and just lapdogged up the whole middle part where he said, it's Trump's fault we had the virus, which is just silly. But, it's hating on Trump. So, that's the poll cut from today's press conference. That's the one that's going to make the rounds everywhere. But he also tried to say, okay, here's the plan for schools. And it was just humana, 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 humana. And the press heard the humana, humana, humana. And they said later on, when you said humana, humana, humana earlier, what exactly does that mean? And what you just heard was more humana, humana, humana. Because they don't know what to do. They don't know what the guidelines are. They have not the first clue in the world whether or not they're going to open things up. All they know is we're going to do something, and if a bunch of kids get sick, then blammo, we're going to come in and shut it down again. That's a hell of a plan, Gov. Good job. Well played.